Can I have a seconder? Is that? Yeah, Graham.
Thank you, Chair. My reason for supporting this motion is more practical, and if I can say to you all that the fact that I believe that this change of our government's policy is fundamentally wrong. And the reason I say that to you is that seismic activity, after drilling by Quadrilla in the Preston area of Lancashire, manifested itself some years ago on a Sunday evening in seismic activity that epicentered north of the Birmingham area. This was felt in parts of Gloucester and certainly in the Forest of Dean. Payments to households in Lancashire would have been done little, or probably even been an insult if damage had occurred in parts of Gloucestershire, which it could easily have done. And I'll put a bit of a funny slant on it, if you like, or a bit of humour in it, although it's not a humorous subject. I was walking home that night from a pub quiz down St White's Road in Sinniford, and a colleague or cousin of mine, who actually is a member of our quiz team, told me a week later that her mother had a whole house shaking St White's Road, and she looked at the window and said Graham Morgan was walking down St White's Road. I said, well, I hardly thought he would have done it, ma'am. And I did say to her, I probably made the ground move for a few when I was younger, but I hadn't certainly made any houses move. But when I got home, my youngest son was sat in the chair as white as a ghost, and he said, this house is haunted, Dad. Because the pressure was enough to move a side chair of a three-piece suite a foot into the living room. Now, that's what happened on that Sunday night, from an epicentre north of Birmingham, from drilling in Preston, Lancashire. So I think from that event, I think we need to be very, very careful. We don't live in a country with vast areas of prairie or desert or thousands of acres of miles of uninhabited land. We live in a very overcrowded island, which we've just completed 2 centuries of deep coal mining. We mined iron ore and still mine rock salt in vast areas of Cheshire. Now, we can ill afford to do something without thinking very carefully about it. I know some of my own colleagues, some councillors, will say if the gas is there, we should just go and get it. But I say we should be thinking very, very careful. Because we've done all this activity in this country, and we've escaped with very little. We've had very little happen. Because when these voids fill up with water, the atmospheres of pressure on that water keeps everything at bay. Because in a coal mine, the sides and the roof don't collapse, the floor eaves up and gives you that water pressure. And it's that water pressure that stops voids appearing to the surface. Damage that water pressure in any way or tamper with it, and we do so at our peril. We could disturb that balance with quite concerning consequences. And all I'd like to say to you all is remember one thing. Seismic activity knows no county boundary. So if you pay one lot of households in one part of the country, the epicenters of that stuff could appear somewhere else and certainly affect a lot of other people. They just won't be getting the money. And what will we do to ourselves, for our children and our grandchildren? I think we should think very carefully of what we do, Chair. Thank you.
Now,